Good morning. It's turned out nice again. It's grey. How you doing, guys? You alright? So it's Valentine's Day. Are you feeling loved? I love Andy Robertson today. He really made my night last night. It's good, it's good. I know I was a bit tired after the game last night. I was really tired after the game last night. I feel a little bit more energetic today, which, trust me, isn't much for me. But yeah, it's Valentine's Day, and to be honest with you, it took me half an hour to open my front door this morning, all them cards on the floor. Nightmare. A bit embarrassing, really, to be honest. But listen, how do you start like that? I'm closing the window because there's someone out there with a drill or something. What do you say on Valentine's Day? I guess I could say to anyone that's with my ex, I could say, just remember, next time you're French kissing her, just remember where her tongue's been, because it's been right up. If you're single, fellas, right, and you're feeling a bit depressed today, don't be depressed. Think how much money you're saving. You could look at it another way and say, well, even Hitler had a girlfriend. But no, just think how much money you're saving. Valentine's Day. Are you one of them people that looks at Facebook today and goes, oh, dear me. You see all these people, don't you, these couples, these women especially, going, our Dave, he loves me, look what he's done. And we're all like looking, going, we all know Dave is your mate, Sandra. I'm trying not to swear on my videos. Valentine's Day. Listen, I'm old school, right? So, if my girl, if she wants to go to, go for a meal or do something romantic on Valentine's Day, if she's like, I really do like chocolates on Valentine's Day, or I really like roses on Valentine's Day, they really mean a lot to me, Dunk. Well, actually, normally, I would be called Duncan. It doesn't matter. I don't know, like some people call me Dunk, some people call me Duncan. Usually when I'm called Duncan, I'm in trouble. Like a magistrate or something like that. You guys would call me Dunk, if you like me. There's people watching my video that don't like me who call me a lot worse, I guess. But if it's important to your chick, you gotta do that, haven't you? You gotta do it. But for me, Valentine's Day is all year round. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to love my girl all year round. So, you gotta take. I don't know. You gotta do like random things through the year, haven't you? You know what I mean? When I think about it, though, the only person I've ever consistently bought flowers for was my mum. It's true. When she was alive, obviously, I can't take flowers these days. But when I take them these days, they're different circumstances. But we won't get into that, a bit depressing. But no, when she was around, especially when I was a young lad, every Friday when I got my wages, I used to go and get myself fish and chips. That won't surprise you, will it? And then I'd get some flowers from my mum. Every Friday I'd visit my mum and say, brought some flowers, mum. And a bag of chips. And she'd give me the chips. I feel like I'm in a good mood today. The derby last night, great, I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans saying, the atmosphere was amazing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of rival fans, not Everton fans, by the way. I'm talking about people that matter. And they were saying, like, the Anfield atmosphere that makes you laugh, it's supposed to be the best in the world, but listen to it, it's terrible. So, I don't know, what do you think about that? You got any opinions on that? John McCafferty, he sent me some biscuit brew tea bags. I'm waiting for them to come. So I'm drinking toast and jam at the moment. It's not as nice. Right, so this is the first video of the day. I'm sure I'll appear later in the day. I haven't been to my office yet, so I haven't really checked my stuff. I'm going to tell you something that I'm going to do today, and I've been thinking about things. Like when I woke up this morning, I was thinking about the takeover situation, what might be happening, what's not happening. And I was doing a bit of, let's call it research, right? And I was looking back as well to do with people that were interested in buying Liverpool Football Club back in 2009. They were linked with us in 2009 and they'd been linked with us before. Well, not even, I guess 2009 was linked, but previously they did try and buy us. And my thoughts on this, they change all the time, about like what we're hearing. It's gone quiet again, you would admit, right? I'm sure there's a lot of speculation and rumours that you're hearing today from notorious Twitter ITK accounts or whatever. Please do, if you've heard anything, like since last night's game, drop it in the comments. I'm sure I'll have seen some of it myself, but other people might not have, and we could do with a good giggle. And yes, I am aware of, some people were at the game last night. But unfortunately, I'm going to stand by what I said in the run-up to the game. A few days before the game, people were saying the Arabs were going to be there, and I disagreed with that statement. Previously, 23rd of January, I told you to keep an eye on the game. I know some of you did. I've seen people zooming in on pictures and everything. But very specifically, in the run-up to the game, people were saying, there's going to be Arabs there. They're coming from here and there and everywhere. And I said, well, I think you're going to be disappointed. All right? I'm standing by that. In relation to a potential takeover or investment. However, we might be talking about other things later along those lines in last night's game. Keep these open and them open, all right? So what I'm going to do today, I woke up this morning, that's right, and I was having a mooch around, and today I'm going to contact someone in Dubai, right, the UAE, and this person is a big Liverpool fan, right? And they were involved previously in the attempts to take over Liverpool Football Club. I haven't mentioned them by name on here recently. I know I've mentioned some people like from the L4 consortium, because I knew a lot that was going on with that, and I was very pally with them when they were trying to buy the club. And it's not specifically, they were involved in all that. This person I'm going to message today. But I've never spoke to this person ever. I'm led to believe they're a very, very nice person. And the reason I'm going to contact them, excuse me, making a video, thank you. It is a dog that's down there. There's nothing else in the cage or anything behind me, just letting you know. You've thrown me off now. I'm going to contact this guy today because he's, Al Maktoum, you remember him, yeah? He represented him. And you remember DIC and all that, Dubai International Capital, you remember all of that. He's involved in that mixture, those kind of people, the previous attempts to buy Liverpool Football Club, and previously went on record about due diligence with Liverpool Football Club and how close they came to buying it. And they've always been my preferred bidder ever, right? Even today. And I do believe that when something, I think I might have mentioned this in a video the other day. But if you've always fancied a particular girl, you think, she's lovely here, but she's with someone, right? Or you've asked her out before, it didn't quite work out. And then she was with someone for a few years, that's that gone now, innit? You leave it, right? And then someone says to you, she's split up with him, Really? There you go. Go on, big dump, give it another go, you know what I'm saying, right? And you might make a new attempt. And you might watch what she's up to and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Now, I think, this is personal opinion. Right, this is personal opinion, right? And I'm not a Twitter ITK or out like that, you know that, right? We debate things here, yeah. And I don't want you, right? If you support my work, or you enjoy my content, or you followed me for decades, right? You know how I work. You know what it's about, right? If you've come to this channel now and you're going, how does a guy making a cup of tea? He thinks that they're going to tell him something in Dubai, right? That's not what I'm saying, right? Because I see these people all the time when I've been inbox. I've got screenshots of private messages with people involved in the deal and all that, right? It's not like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to someone that was involved in all of that and ask them their opinion about the situation and say, you were previously involved heavily in an attempt from Dubai. You were part of that. To buy Liverpool Football Club. And I know you care about Liverpool Football Club. And I'm asking you, and I know the people you were involved with before, and I'll verify that in the email. And I'm going to say, but I'm reaching out to you to ask you your opinion as to whether you think there could be some interest from Dubai, from that region, the UAE, in Liverpool Football Club, because it's eating up at me. It's bothering me, right? Because I think that, like, I think Dubai are watching things. It's my personal opinion. I just don't think that the interest, just goes away. I just don't believe that, because I know that them people were very, very keen on Liverpool Football Club and spaced out over many years. When I say spaced out, I don't mean like spaced out as in they kept their interest going over a long time. And I look at it like this: there's no harm in asking. Right? No one, please don't let me insult your intelligence, or let me spell this out for the ones that are watching my videos for the first time that are maybe a bit thick, right? If you don't ask, you get nowhere in life. So there's nothing wrong with saying to someone, look, just personal opinion here, you're obviously involved in all that before. Do you think there could be any interest in that region, from that region? And they will either ignore it, respond and say I've got nothing to say, which would be the best thing ever, because that means that there is something there. Or they might just reply and go, oh yeah, I was involved in this. Obviously I've moved on from that, right? I know where they are and what they've done since. In answer to your question, I think, right? And they'll either say there is no interest, all right, but it's only their opinion. It doesn't mean anything, maybe. But you'd be surprised how many times over the years that I have reached out to someone and go, do you know what, I've got nothing to lose, and just said, like, what's your opinion? So I'm not approaching someone saying, are you bidding for Liverpool Football Club? Tell me all your private and sensitive information or anything like that. I'm just reaching out to someone. I'm going to say, is there a chance? Would anyone in that country be interested? Now, to you might go, well, what does that mean, Doug? Well, to me, it means a lot. Because surely the thing that we do is we try and obtain as much information as possible from these individual countries, whether it's the Saudi sports minister, whether it's some journalist in Qatar that claims it's all happening, or whether it's someone from America on Twitter trying to make a name for themselves. We digest all the information we can get, all right? And maybe they won't even respond to me. I think they will. Because I know this person is a big Liverpool fan. Now, the only thing is you've got to be careful of sometimes you have to say, look, I'm not going to, do a news article and say such and such. I won't do that. Sometimes people have an opinion and they don't want to speak. Or they'll say you can't say anything. And because they don't know me personally, I don't think they would trust me in that regard. I don't think a complete stranger. I mean, maybe they know about me because I know we had mutual friends at one point. But I doubt they're going to go, yeah, I can trust this lad, I'll give him my opinion. Even if it's not shocking or groundbreaking. The journalists, I'm not a journalist, journalists can take something and really make it sound dramatic, and it can be unhelpful to people back in that region. Do you know what I'm saying? And also, I know that the company that he's with now, the investor, it's all, it doesn't matter. Maybe he's got clients that would then be aware, like if you like stir it up, I'm trying not to swear, if you do a bit of that and make a news headline and it gets syndicated on Google and others in the region pick it up, existing clients of that person might go, well, that's not someone we want to do business with because he's chirping away like a budgie. So I don't even know if I'm doing a good job of explaining this. I'm going to email someone that once tried to buy Liverpool Football Club from Dubai, right? I don't know if they'll respond. Okay? If they do respond, it's not because I think they're going to respond that I'm going to be able to tell you it's on. Right? It's nothing like that. Right? This is for the grown-ups. This is just, I want someone's opinion. And who better to ask than someone that once tried to buy Liverpool Football Club. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. The minute I go downstairs to my office, that's what I'm going to be doing today. And maybe it's boring what I've just said. Maybe it's of no interest. Maybe you're not bothered. Maybe it serves no purpose. All right. Maybe it serves no purpose to you, but it serves purpose to me. Because if he came back, someone that is responsible for billions of dollars or pounds or whatever in that region, highly experienced, tried to buy Liverpool Football Club before, to the point of like going over, doing due diligence 3 times, I think it was, and heavily, trying to work out if it was viable, etc. Because you can be the biggest Liverpool fan in the world, but if people are putting money in, they're going to know you're a Liverpool fan, and you're going to tell them, oh yeah, it's definitely going to work. It don't work like that. They want to know their money's safe. So if you're a Liverpool fan and you're trying to buy the club and you want your bosses to buy it, or your investors, your partners, your clients, you've got to go above and beyond what you normally say and go, yeah, it's a viable deal. You need to go, look, I know you think I'm Liverpool, but I can prove it to you. Right? So who better to ask than someone that was involved in it? They'll either ignore me or they'll say, yeah. So it might not be interesting to you guys, but it will be interesting to me, because if he turns around and says, no, not a chance, I'm going to take that opinion on board more than any journalist whatsoever. Because if he says, no, there's just not the money to do that, or they're pursuing other things, okay, it's only one person's opinion, but to me, I can go, right, all right then, because I don't know now. I don't know what the vibe is in that region, because we're hearing about Qatar, we're hearing about Saudi Arabia, we've even had a little chuckle about, speculating a little bit about Bahrain. You put any of them names, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, followed by Liverpool into Google, and you'll find something, you'll find a link, And the one that's been quiet in all of this, really, since, I would say, the end of last year, has been Dubai, the UAE. And during my little mooch around today, I've seen that those people were linked with Manchester United. I don't think it was recently, I think it was in the past. But that shouldn't dissuade you or I, because I genuinely believe they only want Liverpool. And just because they're linked with Manchester United, don't think it's true. It's just journalists that are just like trying to sell newspapers and get clicks on websites and stuff like that. So here's a good idea. Very wealthy person with an interest in sport might want to buy one of the greatest clubs in the world, right? Manchester United, whether we want to admit that or not, they are. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that they wanted Manchester United. Just my personal opinion. So for me, since this came out officially in November that the club was up for sale, we've all talked about America, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, right? Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Even we were talking about Germany at one point. And I swear down to you guys, when I'm not, waffling to you at doing this, when I'm just pottering about, right? Or if I'm sat in my garden having a cuppa or walking the dog or whatever, even in the supermarket yesterday I was thinking it. I'm walking around and I'm thinking, like, wonder what's going to happen. Will it happen? And I'll be honest, at the minute I'm very disheartened. I am a little bit, I'm not as upbeat and confident as I was about it a week ago, I reckon. But that might change. I think the next couple of days are important. Just going to listen for things. But when I'm doing these things privately, my thoughts are never off it. And all I keep saying to myself or asking myself is, what's happening in Dubai? That's the thing. Maybe it's not big to you guys, but it is me. Do you know what I mean? You see, I don't know what you're like in life, right? But me personally, anything I want, I get it. Right? I get it. I do my best. Everything I've ever wanted in life, I've got. It's just determination. Now, I know you might think, well, you haven't got that £1 billion, mansion in Hawaii. No, but I've never wanted it. I mean, I'd like it, but I've never wanted it. Just realistic things in life. I really want that car. I love that kind of car. I've got it. I really want that house. I've got it. And when it's come to the girls, I really want that chick. And I've got it. So I think the same applies when it comes to football with them people. I'm just convinced, and I can't back it up, that there will be interest in Liverpool Football Club in my mind. So yes, this video is purely speculative. If you're watching this video and you're watching it going, well, that's a waste of my time, you just don't get it, do you? You don't get it. You're watching the wrong kind of content. You should be on Twitter following the ITKs, that are making all these claims to you. I'm telling you from experience, and I just don't get how you could give up on something you ever wanted, unless your circumstances change. So you might fancy this girl and you think, I've always wanted her, and then she's been with someone and she's come on the market, right? But maybe you're married now and you're like, I'd still like to give her one, but I've got our Sandra now, haven't I? You know, things have changed because circumstances change. And I need to know if circumstances have changed in Dubai. I need to know. And I don't want to read a journalist. And I don't want to read some numpty on Twitter. I'm going to reach out to someone that tried to buy Liverpool Football Club. And no, they're not going to give me any secrets or out like that. This isn't what this is about on here. But I might put my mind at rest one way or the other. That someone might just turn around and go, to be honest with you, on the record or off the record, there's no interest, in my opinion, from that region. Because that would just help me, because I can't understand why I'm not reading about Dubai. November we did. December we did. I don't know about after them. And my personal hunch has always been that they're just in the background watching and waiting to see what happens with other people. But it's driving me mental. And I need to know. So you might think I'm wasting my time. You might think I'm a div. It doesn't matter. One way or the other, I'll hopefully get an answer. If he don't reply to me, he don't reply to me, does he? And that's it. Who knows? Later today, tomorrow, next week, maybe I'll be able to tell you something, maybe I won't. If I never mention it again, I obviously didn't hear anything back, did I? Because even if this person replied and said, actually, look, you know, I don't quote in here, you know, this is my opinion, then in one of my future videos, I would say to you guys, I'd go, I'm not saying out, guys, but remember when I sent an email recently? You know what I'm saying? So we shall see. Maybe you don't get it. But when you're on the website, I'm not going to tell you how long I've done it for. Right? When you're on the website, this is what you do. You reach out to people. This is how you make friends and acquaintances. Sometimes they reach out to you. Sometimes you've got to try your luck on. Now, you might turn around now and go, you're wasting your time, Chubbs. Right, fine. Well, when Liverpool Football Club was up for sale, not last time, but the time before, I reached out, yeah, and managed to get, you know, into the Tom Hicks and George Gillette camps, right? Before the drama, before they were, you know, hated and everything. And they invited me, right, to Montreal in Canada and Dallas in Texas. And I went for 4 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks. So there's a method to my madness, you know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When FSG, Nesby as they were called at the time, when they were sniffing around Liverpool, I did the same thing. Didn't hear a thing. No one spoke, nothing. Completely different people. Which is maybe, I don't know. It depends on what you want to do. I don't know. All I'm going to say to you is that at times over the years, just by sending a simple email to someone, can get you a response, you know. And if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? So if you don't ask that bird out for a date, you're never going to know if you've got a chance, and that's what I would say. I just want to know what he thinks. Whether, not is he involved in anything, because he won't be involved in anything. I don't think so, personally, because I've looked at his career and what he's done since those days. He's still involved in that world, so I would imagine that he would still be involved. Well, there's no imagining about it. He's still involved with, you know, high money deals and things like that. And he's going to have a feel, and because his experience of what the potential is from Dubai. So, well, I'm going to drop him an email, all right? I would rather you didn't speculate in the comments as to who that is. And to be honest with you, I have no problem with telling you who that is. But if I say this now, someone that's watching this might try and jump the gun, you know, ahead of me, and I don't want to do that. Because then if loads of people do it, you then just, it doesn't matter. But I expect that at some point today, he's going to receive an email, because I've got his email address, and hopefully it'll be out of the blue. Maybe he's had loads, I don't know. I don't think, you know, people are on my wavelength, but there you go. You might just go, ooh, that's interesting. So we'll see. That's it. So, like I say, it's part of my gig is to do a bit of sniffing. I don't mean knickers. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about girls that might be available or not. I ruined it, didn't I? Yeah, you ruined it at the beginning. Anyway, I'm still waffling because I've still got my tea. Now, you could say, why are we only talking about that? It's not the only thing that's topical at the moment, because we've been talking about you know, the news that's come out over the handling of the UEFA stuff, you know, the final, and the way Liverpool fans were treated and stuff like that. I've got to be honest with you. I try to avoid content like that. I try to stay with more light-hearted stuff because stuff like that makes me really angry. You know, I was watching the news today, pictures of our fans, you know, the way they were treated. And I know how scary it can be to be caught up in a small area with a lot of people pushing against you. I was involved in something like that at 2001 when I was with my mum at the final against Alaves. And it wasn't nice, you know. It was nothing major, but it was certainly like a situation where it was like, oh, this is not nice. And I was just thinking of them kids and obvious things to do with Liverpool Football Club's history and stuff. And I don't know, I find stuff like that a bit, you know, just... I'm going to put my hands up and say I find stuff like that bothers me, you know, and like maybe I'd find it hard not to swear and say what you want about supporters groups like Spirit of Shankly and stuff like that. I know that some people have no time for them, but I think those people, whether you can relate to those people or whether you consider yourself as part of that or whatever, they're far more educated on stuff like that than me, you know, and I take my hat off to supporters groups and to people that are involved in highlighting all these things. And they're far more educated than me on stuff like that because I choose to not get involved. I don't know if that makes me a bad person or not, I'm not sure. But just from, you know, like, I don't know, can you tell? I just like, over the years, I've always tried to stay away from campaigning and things like that because, I don't know, one, I don't have the time to fight someone else's battle because there's so many things in my own life that I can't take control of, so I don't know how I can win stuff for other people. I would always highlight things, you know, if someone came to me and said, we've got a press release or could you put this on, I would do anything like that. But, you know, for me to make a video on all of this today, you know, I've seen people on Twitter saying today, like fan accounts and things, talking, you know, condemning the whole situation. And then you look at the replies and there's people asking them questions that maybe don't understand. I wouldn't be able to answer them properly. And I think to truly give an opinion on something, you really need to know what you're talking about. And I don't know what I'm talking about with that, guys. So I take my hat off to the people that campaign for this. So we might not see eye to eye on some things with these supporters groups, but yeah, anyway, that's it. So I did think about making a video about it all, and what can I do other than say disgusting, disgraceful, mustn't happen again. My own opinions on them sort of things, like general to do with things, is that football bodies, organisations like UEFA and things like that, they don't care about you or me. They don't care about what's happening to people trapped outside the stadium that can't get in, you know, that are maybe being, you know, handled in a particular way by the police and things like that. You know, Liverpool fans have a reputation sometimes, you know, from over the years, and people making slurs against Liverpool fans for their history in Europe and things like that. English football fans in general have a reputation. I have seen that, you know, even here in Spain, I've seen the way the police have, you know, just literally taken truncheons and battered English football fans, you know. And you can say what you want about our police, and we know we've got history of the police and their handling of things to do with Liverpool over the years. But our police at times, I think, tend to have a bit more restraint, whereas the police in Europe and that, they can be pretty brutal. And I don't think it's just because you're English. I just think that doesn't help. English football hooligans, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, for example, in England, you know, if you stop by the police, you can probably run your mouth a bit, you know, and say, like, what are you going to do about it? You know, blah, 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 blah. You try that here in this country, whether you're, because I'm in Spain, you try that here with a police officer, you know, especially someone like the Guardia Civil. There's 3 different police forces here. We've got Guardia Civil, National Police and Local Police. I wouldn't want to argue with any of them, you know. And, you know, there's been times in England when I've been stopped by the police and I've, like, defended myself, you know, like not being cocky or disrespectful, but I've gone, hang on a minute, that's actually, I was driving down here, you're wrong, you know, no, and you're like, no, I'm not having that, mate, you're full of, you know, like that. I would never react to any of the police here. local, national, or Guardia Civil. They're all in the area. Your life. They all do have they deal with different crimes and things. But you wouldn't run your mouth with them people, really. Which is a good thing. A bit like the police in America, My mate Smooth, some of you guys know Smooth. He tells me all the time, you just comply, do as you're told. In England, you can run your mouth. There's no respect for the police. So anyway, I don't know about stuff like that, and I'd rather leave it to the people that know what they're talking about. I do take my hat off to them, but I do want to keep it a bit more light-hearted on here, and let's just talk about the things that maybe, I don't know, you see, for me, football is an escape from some of the awful things in my life, right? And the awful experiences I've had in my life. And we've all had them, right? And without going into that, I can come on here and have a laugh with you. All right, guys, turned out nice again, and all that. But the reality is that while this is authentic, there'll be something maybe an hour from now, maybe when you're watching this, there'll be maybe something in my personal life that's not going great somewhere, all right? Or, that happens to us, all right? But when Liverpool play, like last night, you can be going through some confusing times. It can be relationships, it could be financial, it could be bereavement, it could be any of those things. I'm going through all three of those. And you put the game on and it takes you away from your, the dramas, the sad things in life, the things that we have to think about every day. So for me, football's a release, which is why it's important that we enjoy it, right? Which is why we need to not get dragged down by the bad events, like when the team's not playing well and with all this ownership stuff. It's like, because it's my only release, it's my only escape from the rubbish in life, yeah? That's why I'm sure that must apply to all of you. You can switch off for an hour and a half, couple of hours. Afterwards, yeah, you're back to your real life again, maybe. But if I was to come on here and start talking about all the sad things in football or to do with our club and that, I think I wouldn't be escaping it, would I? You know what I mean? So, anyway, let's stick to silly football rumours and speculation surrounding a takeover. I'm not in a good place with the takeover stuff at the moment. I've got to be honest with you. There's absolutely no reason for that, to be honest. No one's said anything. I just think it's gone a bit quiet. Maybe quiet's good. Quiet's good, maybe. I still think we'll be sold. But we'll have to see. Basing that just on an opinion. Right, guys, I'm gonna go and send that email. I'm gonna reach out to that fella. Let's see what he says. He might not reply. If he don't reply, okay, anyway. It's up to him. Alright, guys, take it easy. Speak to you in a bit. Alright.